Well, Russia claims it is using hypersonic missiles to attack Ukraine. The most recent reported attack was Sunday on a fuel depot in eastern Ukraine. It was the second day in a row Russia claims it used the weapon, which is capable of traveling at 5 times the speed of sound.
The International Committee of the Red Cross is warning some 346 million Africans, more than a quarter of the continent's population, have an acute shortage of food. The organization cited the economic effects of the pandemic as many African countries are enduring conflict, drought, and rising prices for even basic food and fuel. It added humanitarian aid is being hampered due to inflation, which they say was triggered by Russia's war on Ukraine.
Natural gas is an important feedstock for fertilizer. And so it's not just an issue about, paying more to heat your home when you have issues with natural gas. It's also about the whole supply chain when we think about things like food, when we think about manufactured goods. So it is a very, very important conflict to watch because it impacts multiple things that consumers need: food, fuel, how you heat your homes, the cost of manufactured goods. So again, releasing the SPR is important in terms of bringing down overall prices of oil. But as long as this war continues involving such a major commodity producer, we're looking at elevated prices.
Soaring prices are sparking tough decisions in grocery store aisles. It's all supply and demand affected by the pandemic and the war in Ukraine.
WPTV News Channel 5's Brianna Nesbral shares tonight how shoppers are working to keep up with these rising prices.
A ride through the grocery store aisles.
Definitely the meat is more expensive. Chicken is ridiculous for what it used to be.
You'll see soaring prices.
What I'm seeing, the prices are astronomical.
No, it's getting way out of control.
Typical bought items.
The filet was $25 a pound, and it's not even a prime.
Nearly doubling in price. The war in Ukraine has caused gas prices to spike.
It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. I've never seen pricing this high.
The USDA says food prices are expected to rise up to 4% by the end of this year. Breaking that down, dairy product prices are expected to increase 10%, poultry prices at 12%, and meat up to 15.5%.
Access to fuel is limited in Yemen. A 2-month ceasefire between Houthi rebels and the Saudi coalition was to bring relief by easing a blockade and by allowing fuel shipments to rebel-held areas. But the impact has yet to be felt.
The price of food is ridiculous. People are crushed. Some of them can't afford to buy the basics. It's a catastrophe.
7 years of war have devastated Yemen, pushing millions of people into hunger. And not being able to purchase basic food staples has hit communities particularly hard.
Now, the COVID-19 pandemic is not over. Different variants bring different concerns, but in some cases, old variants give birth to new clusters. And Britain is facing something very similar. A new surge of COVID virus is putting the health sector under pressure. Again, it is important to note that just this year, England dropped all COVID restrictions. People testing positive for COVID-19 no longer need to self-isolate. But in recent weeks, 1 in 13 people believed to have been infected till March 26th. This is the highest since the pandemic began. Now, the positive side is that hospitalization levels are well below previous peaks in 2020 and 2021. But high cases are leading to disruptions in some services, like at the airports, because of staffing shortage. And because of the surge, airline EasyJet has been forced to cancel some flights. Additional standby crews are being called in. The airline cancelled around 60 flights to and from Britain on Monday alone. British Airways was also forced to make a small number of cancellations over the weekend.